Let's talk about a keynote around creating a competitive advantage with intelligent supply chain.
Mm.
Please help us with this topic. Over to you.
Yeah, Raj, so obviously, one of the biggest challenges which any supply chain, especially pharma supply chain, does is having a complexity. Unlike other industries where where there is differences in products, here we have large number of products, large amount of SKUs, different batch sizes, different recipes, and the entire game here is how can technology play an important role in basically managing this complexity of supply chain efficiently. So the entire part here is how we can use technology at the fullest. Obviously, there have been tools and technologies all around in solving supply chain problems. But yes, the current thing of this AI ML has, as we heard in the earlier panel discussion also, brought an entirely different dimension to what can be achieved. What can be achieved in terms of right from the planning process, how do we basically do the forecasting, how do we plan our batches efficiently, do the manufacturing using do the scheduling of batches, and even after the batches are manufactured, have the right prioritization in quality release, and finally the dispatch tracking to the customers. So all that has been an important shift with the help of technology, and we all are emerging, taking a clue from our global peers, whatever they have done in terms of technology, and how we can adopt it in an Indian context with whatever learnings which we have to create a more efficient and what I will call a wrinkle-free supply chain. So the entire thing is in and around that. So Raj, importantly, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Uh, no. So thanks for the initial information. I also wanted to ask you a bit about walk us through blockchain and its contribution in scaling large scale manufacturing.
Yeah, Raj. So obviously, blockchain is some idea which the global companies have initiated with. I am not sure how many use cases are there successfully demonstrated in an Indian context. But what we understand and we are actually evaluating as such is how can blockchain help me in two three things. First is maintaining the authenticity of my products, and second is obviously reducing the complexity. Blockchain is obviously giving some advantages. Basically, being a distributed ledger, it can have more authentic, controlled way of mechanisms. There are applications which we are hearing from other peers, like the import-export documentation perspective, which are an added advantage there. Companies have tried that methodology. Importantly, what globally people are doing is one of the important thing in pharma is the usage of this medicated guides and the product leaflets. You will find that every drug may be coming with some leaflet. However, due to certain rules and regulations, these leaflets keeps getting updated. Now, one of the way the blockchain can help you is basically most of these leaflets are actually not used even by the patients. They go into drawers or something like that. Now, with this technology-enabled blockchain processes, what we understand is there are examples where you can just scan a code on the product barcode and the latest information will be shown to your mobile devices. So all these applications are very, very relevant. I see going forward this being adopted by many pharmaceutical companies across India also, and this is very good. The other application which I think blockchain can bring to pharmaceuticals is the authenticity of the product returns. So the product returns which come, the shape, size, etc. You have to basically honor that returns, but to properly meet whether the product is authentic, how do we basically solve the issues of counterfeit medicines, which has been a supply chain pharma issue since long. Is all that application of blockchain in these areas looks very promising per se.
All right. Good. Can you help us understand empowering the true supply chain visibility with location-based intelligence? How do we empower that?
See, logistics is always an area where you have to create a lot of visibility. So, and again, there have been tech solutions in and around long. But having a location-based visibility is obviously going to solve multiple challenges. See, pharma industry is all based upon how do you launch new products. So how do you launch new products means essentially that you should have a visibility on when your raw material is going to arrive, whether your machines in the area where you're going to manufacture are available. Okay, it's not the availability of only the product inventory, it's also about the space availability. So having this IoT based sensors or this visibility across the value chain improves your scheduling abilities, which also improves your product delivery abilities. And there have been solutions in and around for that. Importantly, we only talk about improving or rather making the product available on time or at time to the customer. But there is an issue in pharmaceuticals that product comes early also. Those who have worked in hardcore pharma knows that there are scenarios where your stores or the warehouses are facing issues that the material has come and they don't have any space to unload the material. So all these are also the typical challenges. So going forward, if we can have a visibility where the warehouse capacity is visible to the vendor and the vendor dispatching the stocks is visible to the warehouse team members well in advance. And I'm talking about large scale here. I'm not talking about small shipments. And for that, again, the discussion which we were having in the other panel makes a lot of sense because we do not have that kind of master data availability as of now. So when we talk about using all these buzzwords like blockchains and end-to-end visibility, we forget that how much master data is sufficiently maintained in our systems, and which makes that master data as a central core around which once you design, you should know that I have to share this information on my warehouse capacities, on my vendor-based product availability dates, etc. And how do I need to use this information for solving any particular scheduling issues? So location-based visibility is again good. There are IoT sensor devices being used. To some extent, they are solving some problems related to what kind of alerts we want. And based on that alerts, how are we going to bring upon an improvement in a process? That may be location-based can basically help us in rerouting the consignments. What is the best way we are using it? What can be the route optimization as of now in that? So all these are improvement areas related to the location-based visibilities. But yeah, there's a long way to go. Currently, we are basically doing some kind of temperature monitoring kind of things, some GPS-related stuff. But we need to also see whether we can optimize the routes, whether we can have this micro scheduling where we do not end up having discussions on whether to unload the truck today, whether to unload the truck tomorrow. So all these are the business problems which any supply chain guy faces. And technology has to basically solve those problems going forward.
Similar to what we have been talking, transporting, let's say vaccines, which are like biopharmaceuticals under optimal temperature, which is the priority item, but it is not very often not prioritized, I feel, and how can location-based intelligence and real-time tracking help this via IoT systems? Can you put some light here?
Yeah, so there are sensors with basically chips around it, and it basically is enabled through a mobile device. So to be very frank, for something like vaccines or biological products which are temperature sensitive, most of the good pharmaceutical companies are very, very rigorous on following the right norms for it. So I can give our example. We are basically using a proper refer vans with all type of controls, temperature monitoring devices, along with some IoT sensors. So basically based on the mobile enabled alerts of seeing how the temperature escalation has happened, how or whether the temperature escalation has happened, and in case taking it rightly with the transporters is the key norm here. So I think it's the availability. It's more about the information, and I see there's a continuous improvement in the way the cold chain logistics has evolved over years. So earlier maybe they were only a data logger kind of stuff, but today it's much more detailed one. That we are not only seeing the temperature, we are seeing the temperature, humidity, route taken, the package condition, the number of times the package or the shipment has stopped, how much transshipments have happened. All these are the key parameters which today our logistics supply chain is tracking with the help of technology.
Interesting. help us walk us through around, like, how can supply chain automation be enabled through robotics?
Yeah, so right. So one of the important application, I think, robotics coupled with machine learning, both I feel are the way forward in saving a lot of times of users. Pharma is a highly compliant industry. We are a validated industry. So what happens is this repetitive tasks which are prone to human error needs to be automated. So yes, there has been an RPA automation in fields like finance. Using OCR, you are giving a benefit to both finance as well as supply chain. You are reading the invoices digitally, making those invoice entries on time, reducing the turnaround time. Importantly, if I talk about only pure supply chain aspect, although there may be numerous examples, but I see a application lot happening in typically the procurement segment. But there's a lot of repetitive tasks being done, and repetitive task means, I will give you an example of a typical pharmaceutical case where you have to revalidate the total documentation of a vendor. So you will have to ask him after a frequency of say 1 year or whatever is the periodic audit interval. You have to ask him that what is your GMP document, where is your WHO renewal coming, what are your other certifications. Then it's a very tedious, similar kind of job where you have to see what is the last audit done. I have to call the documents. The QA will send some kind of documents to this guy in procurement guy. The procurement guy will send a follow-up to the vendor. Vendor will send the document, and the procurement guy has to verify certain things, whether it's a valid document, and share it back to the quality team. Now you have to do, imagine just this type of task has to be done for 150 vendors. In an organization of our size where we have multiple vendors across different categories, you have to do this type of stuff being a regulated company for multiple different vendors. Now this is not a task which a typical procurement guy is expected to be doing, but this is a part of his KPI, right? So how do you address this? Just have a RPA where you have emails coming to a particular ID, the documents get scanned, what documents are overdue gets analyzed, it basically gets forwarded to the vendors, and then the reply gets auto scanned using OCR and trying to find whether the documents sent by the vendors are the genuine ones, sending it back in case of any query. So I feel this is one area which may not give you a high value return, but it's a high time saving effort. And you are utilizing the time of a procurement guy doing the basic thing which is asked for, doing the negotiations and ensuring that he is placing the orders on time so that the material arrives in time for a proper manufacturing to happen. So this is one example of RPA. We have discussed other RPA examples, especially in the planning area, coupled with machine learning. One of the biggest investments of any pharma company goes typically into scenarios of maintaining safety stocks. Now this is a manual exercise mostly. You see the past consumption, you see what has been the trend, how much delay has been from the vendor, and you estimate the safety stocks for planning, for especially the raw materials and packing materials. Now, this is a typical thing which is for which the data is mostly available in most of the ERPs. Now, if you have a solution which does kind of robotic automation coupled with a machine learning, managing and maintaining safety stocks is not a very difficult ask. However, many times this exercise is not even done or not even attempted in time. You do a material planning cycle, and in the material planning cycle, this gets omitted sometimes, which has a huge value implication per se. So these are the two examples. There are coupled, obviously, many other available use cases generally discussed, but these are the two major examples which comes to my mind, where we see in one case the time saving happening in an ample amount of time to justify this business case, and in second, where there's a direct impact on the cost.
Okay. I think this concludes the objective what I wanted to ask Bhavesh. But thank you so much for bringing up such an insight of intelligent supply chain, which is so important in today's manufacturing firm, Bhavesh. Once again, thank you so much on behalf of team. We would like to thank you and giving us the keynote on this important topic.
Thank you, Raj.